Hey there, nostalgia lovers! Welcome to Nostalgia Area. The 1980s. It was the decade of big hair, neon everything, and some of the most legendary music ever made. But let's be honest, not every part of the 80s was awesome. For every great memory, there was a restaurant chain that, looking back, was just gross. From truly questionable food to themes that were just plain bizarre, some places are best left in the past. Today, we're counting down 20 disgusting restaurants from the 1980s that, thankfully, no one really misses. Did you ever have the misfortune of eating at one of these? GD Ritzy's was famous for burgers so thin you could practically read the menu through them.
Favorite meals here at GD Ritzy's for the last 40 years.
And shoestring fries that looked like someone dropped a potato in a paper shredder. The gimmick had charm, but the food didn't exactly create lifelong loyalty. By the end of the 80s, most locations were toast, though a few stubborn survivors still exist in Ohio and Kentucky, if you feel like reliving the experience of eating sadness between two buns. Before McDonald's ruled the world, Henry's was a legit rival.
We are at Henry's Hamburgers, a legacy right here.
But by the 80s, it was the fast food equivalent of that forgotten kid in your high school yearbook photo. The food quality tanked. The fries tasted like cardboard dipped in salt, and customers just went to the Golden Arches instead. Henry's went from burger empire to burger who? Faster than you could say Big Mac. The restaurants looked like giant barns, which was cute until you realized the food tasted like actual barnyard. They were one of the first with a salad bar, but let's be real. Nothing says luxury dining like lettuce that's been sitting under fluorescent lights all day. Eventually bought out by a company that had no interest in running restaurants, Red Barn was quietly sent out to pasture.
So I head on down to the Red Barn for a burger that can't be beat.
Mercifully, for everyone's digestive health. York Steakhouse had nearly 200 locations in the 80s.
York Steakhouse was a national chain of steakhouse restaurants
serving cheap steak cafeteria style. Imagine high school lunch lady vibes, but instead of mystery meat, it was slightly upgraded mystery steak. The no-frills, self-service setup felt stale, as diners wanted an actual experience, not to grab their own napkins. York shut down in 1989, proving that steak night should never feel like detention. Originally called Zapata, Zantigo was Taco Bell's cooler cousin.
Zantigo. Its menu featured Mexican-inspired classics such as tacos.
For about 5 minutes. Then Taco Bell's parent company bought it, and instead of letting both survive, shoved Zantigo into the corporate witness protection program. By the late 80s, it was gone, absorbed into the Taco Bell empire. A few independent Zantigos still pop up in Minnesota, though, for people who think Taco Bell isn't authentic enough. Yes, the name really was Pup N Taco.
Pup N Taco was a privately owned chain of fast food restaurants in Southern California.
And yes, it sold both tacos and hot dogs. Because apparently no one asked, should we? They just went with, why not? The food was edible, technically, but mixing tacos and hot dogs on the same menu is like trying to DJ with a kazoo. Taco Bell eventually bought most locations, leaving Pup N Taco as just a weird trivia question. Wags was Walgreens' attempt at running a diner chain.
8 steps below the competition is Wag's Restaurant.
Yes, the pharmacy thought, if we can sell cough syrup, surely we can sell pancakes. Spoiler, they could not. The food was mediocre, the prices high, and the whole thing felt like eating dinner in the waiting area of a drugstore. By 1988, Walgreens sold the failing chain to Marriott, who also couldn't make it work. Lum's was famous for hot dogs steamed in beer.
Lum's was a restaurant chain that was known for their signature hot dogs steamed in beer.
That's right, beer dogs. Sounds fun until you actually bite into one and realize it tastes like regret at Oktoberfest. At its peak, Lum's had over 400 locations, but gimmicks can only carry you so far. By the mid-80s, the chain collapsed, leaving behind only faint memories of beer, onions, and bad decisions. This West Coast chain was known for fried chicken so bright orange,
Pioneer Chicken is an American fried chicken restaurant chain.
it looked like it just come back from a Caribbean vacation. Pioneer Pete, their mascot, was fun, but the food was a neon-colored grease bomb. Even celebrity endorsements couldn't save them, and by the late 80s, bankruptcy hit hard. If you miss it, just dump Cheeto dust on a drumstick. You'll get the same effect. In the decade of excess, D-Lights tried to sell low-fat fast food. Burgers with lean beef and high-fiber buns, a salad bar. Basically, health food in the middle of Ronald McDonald's playground. It was a smart idea, but totally the wrong decade. People in the 80s didn't want healthy burgers. They wanted grease that could fuel a DeLorean. D-Lights expanded fast, collapsed even faster, and proved America wasn't ready for kale in a bun. Speaking of greasy nostalgia, if you're craving that retro diner vibe without the food poisoning, check out the goodies we linked below. These budget steakhouses were so similar they might as well have been twins. Western theme, buffet-style food, and steaks cooked to meh. The quality was a gamble. You either got okay for the price or something that tasted like it fell off the chuck wagon. By the late 80s, customers realized they could just go to a real steakhouse, and these places rode off into the sunset. ShowBiz Pizza had one big selling point: the Rock-a-Fire Explosion, a creepy but strangely lovable animatronics band that still has cult fans on YouTube today. Unfortunately, the pizza itself tasted like greasy cardboard. The robot show was fun, but you had to choke down a slice of sadness to see it. Eventually, the company merged with Chuck E. Cheese,
All remaining restaurants were rebranded to Chuck E. Cheese's by the early 90s.
and the Rock-a-Fire band was tragically retired. Rest in peace, terrifying robot bear. This steakhouse let you eat inside refurbished train cars. Cool gimmick, until you realized the food was overpriced, underwhelming, and the train wasn't going anywhere. By the mid-80s, customers got tired of paying extra just to sit in a booth shaped like a caboose. Bankruptcy hit in 1986, and Victoria Station officially derailed. With its bright orange roofs, Howard Johnson's was once the roadside stop in America.
Howard Johnson's was once the biggest restaurant chain in the country.
But by the 80s, it was more depressing than comforting. The food quality sank, the service was miserable, and the vibe was, we gave up. Marriott bought the chain in 1985 and converted most locations into something else. Today, Hojo's is mostly just a sad, nostalgic logo on old postcards. This chain started as Burger Queen but immediately ran into lawsuits from Burger King. So in 1981, they rebranded as Druther's. Problem solved? Not exactly. The food was still bland, the identity was still confusing, and eventually they gave up and converted into Dairy Queen franchises. Honestly, that was probably an upgrade for everyone involved. In the 80s, Chi-Chi's was the Mexican-themed casual dining chain.
Chi-Chi's wasn't just a restaurant. It was where Midwest families went to feel spicy.
Giant portions, festive decor, sombreros everywhere. But as it grew, quality tanked. Customers said the salsa tasted like watered-down ketchup. The service was slower than dial-up, and some locations were so grimy, you half expected cockroaches to bring you chips. The chain limped into the 90s, but its reputation never recovered. Rax could have been the Arby's alternative, but instead, it spiraled into a full-on identity crisis. They started adding pizza, tacos, even Chinese food like a buffet nobody asked for. Then came the infamous Mr. Delicious ad campaign.
For a brief time, the chain embraced a mascot named Mr. Delicious,
featuring a sad, middle-aged cartoon man who was supposed to sell roast beef but instead made everyone lose their appetite. Bankruptcy followed almost immediately. Burger Chef was once the second biggest burger chain in America.
Open wide, America! Burger Chef's got thick, juicy, terrific burgers for you.
And a true innovator with the first kids meal and fast food combo. But then General Foods bought it, because if there's anyone you trust to run a burger joint, it's the people who make Jell-O. Spoiler, it didn't go well. Add in a tragic unsolved crime at one location, and the brand's image never recovered. Bennigan's was the Irish-themed pub chain where the only thing truly Irish was the Guinness. In the 80s, it became infamous for microwaved food so obvious you half expected the waiter to bring it out still spinning on a lazy Susan. The atmosphere went from fun pub to sad office party real quick, and Bennigan's became less of a night out and more of a punchline. Finally, Sambo's, the chain whose biggest problem wasn't the food, but the name. Taken from the racist book The Story of Little Black Sambo, the backlash was constant. The restaurant served basic diner food, but the offensive branding doomed them from the start. By the early 80s, the chain collapsed under protests, boycotts, and financial chaos. Honestly, good riddance. And there you have it, 20 restaurants from the 1980s that have been, thankfully, lost to time. From bizarre concepts and creepy mascots to just plain awful food. These chains prove that not everything from the past is worth being nostalgic about. While some of these places might spark a weird, distant memory, it's probably safe to say our collective standards have gotten a whole lot better. Which of these restaurants do you remember? Or is there one we missed that you're glad is gone forever? Let us know in the comments below. Want to relive the 80s without the bad tacos? We've linked some fun retro cookbooks, candy packs, and diner gadgets in the description. Way safer than eating a beer-steamed hot dog. If you enjoyed this, give the video a like and subscribe for more dives into our forgotten past. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay nostalgic.